For today's session, we have picked this topic, code review and best practices. And keeping in mind the target audience, I have tried to make it as generalized as possible. So the developers from different backgrounds can relate to it. Okay, so it's not specially for Salesforce. It's just generalized for all the technologies and that we code for. Okay. Okay, so first thing, uh, this should be our motto: think twice or thrice, plan it. In basic computer programming language, we started learning it. We first design an algorithm or a flow chart. So that is a part of planning. So you should you should try to code. You should have a particular algorithm for it design, and then you must move to coding part. Okay, so now what is code review? So according to Wikipedia, it's a systematic examination of whatever computerized code you have written, and you find your mistakes, you fix it. uh, in initial development phase, the code is not collaborated properly, so it may be there are many mistakes like code repetition, and you have used at the beginning of your product or whatever project you are developing, you have repetitive uh, use some mistakes like some other design pattern, coding pattern that is not actually in good for any performance or review. So that is covering in code review.
Hello.
That hello. Okay. Okay. So then what its process? Its process uh, is basically other developing viewing your code, also known as peer review, where you develop your code, you give other developer to review it, and that developer from a fresh point of view will be analyzing your code and giving you feedbacks, or that is called a review. The review points that, okay, don't do it this way, do it this way, or call this method, it is already written, and stuff like that. Okay, so these are basically the advantage of code review. So any mistakes that you have done in development before it becomes a part of a product, you are rectifying it. Okay, so before launch of that particular product, you are rectifying some of the mistakes that you have done. Okay, it's ensure the code that you have developed is properly having a particular standard. Organize different organization will have different standards for that particular code. There will have a personalized set of rules. Okay, that all the team members to has to follow. Then repetitive code block while development in any technology you take, because whatever developer is developing something, he doesn't know what other developer is doing. So there are many chances where repetitive code block is being done in a particular code development. So these problems should be minimized. Okay, then there are other problems in your code where string are exploited, like there can be any input string where a particular user can input a particular code that can lead to malicious use that is not intended for that particular product. Suppose you can write a console statement in an input field, and that particular console or alert is being shown to the user. So that is exposing the internal data of a particular database table. So that should not happen. So that particular logic checks are there, race conditions are there, memory leak problem is there. So in a for loop, you are defining variables, declaring variables. Race condition is like you are again and again iterating the same code block again and again. So these type of problems are fixed, as well as it's a great knowledge sharing program, because like experienced developers are coming and looking into your code, pointing out your things that okay, this approach can be much better, or you code it in a different way, or you call a particular context or method much efficiently. Okay, the standard of using promise or complicated logic can be more refined by the expert opinion, and you get a clear view. Okay, what I have done wrong, and you will never repeat it. Okay, so now the code review process. Till now, anyone has some questions like this? Like, okay, I will consider it as a no. Then there is a code review process. So in a particular traditional code review system, coding is done. After the coding is done, a particular review process starts where you fill a particular form with your all the components that you have developed and modified, and you submit it for review. Okay, and then the reviewers, there can be multiple, there can be one, or that in your dev team, anyone can pick that particular request and check your code, whatever component you have written, you have listed out, and it will write you a feedback. Okay, so the feedback can be in a comment itself, or he or she can create a new list of document and have all the pointers in that. Okay, and after that particular form has been filled, it will be reverted back to the developer, and again he will be doing the all the points, he will be going through it and doing the coding again, and again the same process in loop execute till the reviewer finds okay, all the things are completed and review is completed, and then QA testing, check in code, QA testing and everything will start. Okay, so there is one more process, fill in the review response form. That is the developer who has developed that fills a form about the review process. If he or she is comfortable, like all the reviews done, or he also thinks some points are left. If some points are left, he can submit it in that particular form and create a new review request. Okay. Now, after advantage, we should also consider the disadvantage. So this is a particular traditional code review style. It's like a bunch of people sitting in a particular room in a projector, a black and white display as we shown, and then you find all the problems. Okay, and highlighter or red pen, whatever you do it and write the comment that okay, this is a particular problem. So this is very uh, brain teasing problem where every developers have to stress themselves out. So now after this traditional method, we have to do this, but there is one more layer which can ease our jobs. So that is static code review analysis. Okay, so there are now in market, in like if I talk about history, in 1919 a Java developer was very stressed out with this particular problem, that what is this, like for every project we are coming together and like 2 weeks of code review is being done. So he was very stressed out. So what he did was he created a Java program, and okay, and that Java program will run a particular Java code. It will read it and find all the patterns. He has written all the patterns. What are the problems? For loop may, like a variable cannot be declared, or a value should be assigned to a particular variable when you're declaring it. Such type of practices that should be followed in a particular code. He has written rules for it. Okay, and according to these static rules, whatever he is written, he can analyze by running a particular program. He can analyze any other Java program having same problem, and at the end of the program, it's create a particular output file, a particular Word document in which all the line numbers are mentioned and your problem is mentioned. So that was the starting of era for static code review, and the product name is PMD. It's also currently in, you can find it in Git repository for PMD. So if you are interested, go to GitHub and search PMD. It's for like, I find it for, it's available for many languages, HTML, JavaScript, Apex. There are many language cover over here. So it's a repository that is active for past 25 years, 27 years. So it is having many contributions. So look into it. Then these are the advantages of static code review, like allow you to find a bug or any bad practice errors earlier when you are developing it, or after you have developed, you can run a particular script that will execute that code. Okay, it is very high speed analysis. It doesn't take like within 5 minutes your code will be analyzed. So it's not a cumbersome process like taking 2 weeks to analyze and so on. Does not require to actually run your application. Your application is not run. It is just analyzed using another application that is run. So it's a great tool that does it and allow you to locate bugs. So the line number, the exact line number where their problem is, you can go to a particular link and you can open it, and at the point you will be navigated to. So that is a very good point in static code analysis. Now there are disadvantages also, because like you have written a static rules that for any particular language, say JavaScript, these rules should be followed. Okay, and in like it can be a false alarm also, like in your application it is not required to use the equality operator triple equals to every time. Suppose you have to do a type comparison, then what? So that can be a false alarm. The developer has to decide whether it is correct or not. Okay, anyone having any questions? Okay, so now it can also be a problem where there are code written with thousands of line of code. Okay, and it's fully functioning, and now you decide to run a particular static code analyzer, and then in that particular code you find hundreds of issues. Now once you have fixed it, now your working code is not working anymore, because like you have done some bad fixes in that. That should not be happening. So that may also cause an issue and increase your time. So with the static code analyzer, you should always keep in mind that, okay, this is wrong or not. Okay, this is pointing that particular line as wrong, and it's having a particular description and everything. So whether it is wrong or not, it should be clear, okay, to the developer itself. Now, this is basically for LWC and Apex. For LWC, we have linting, ESLint as a static code analyzer, and for Apex, we have PMD and checkmark. So Apex PMD and checkmark. PMD we have installed, and we are using Apex rules for it. It also have a rules for JavaScript and HTML that we can also leverage. Okay, any questions? Okay, now let's come to generalized best practices that we should all follow. So these are like many developers are very familiar with this. Like variable names should be, descriptive. It should not be XXYY or such. It should be informative in camel case. Okay, variable names should be informative, meaningful, like amount or price. It should be full form, not abbreviations. Then underscore in variables names are very bad practice. It depends on coding language also. Different standard can be set for organization. And global variables generally have a underscore prefix. So once you are using any global variable, have underscore in that particular variable. For methods, we follow Pascal case generally, uh, and also it should be not abbreviation. It should be a meaningful name. What actually that particular method does. So here a point comes that method should be singleton methods. Like it should be doing one job, not multiple jobs. Like too long method should be avoided. Okay. Any async method should have that async word to denote it's a asynchronous process that it will be executing. Okay. Anyone has any questions till now?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So at the last, I want to demo. Now you are able to see.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a particular problem that arise with ESLint. So we are analyzing, JavaScript using ESLint. So for this component, there are 43 issues we have. So all the practices, uh, best practices, as well as any problem it arise, like unused variables and such, are pointed it using these particular, and these are rules that are there. Also for Apex, so we have for PMD. So using PMD, you will be having all the Apex related issues over pointed it out. Okay, external string does not exist. So this is an example of malicious code review. This is having a generalized use that you have not declared system.label anywhere in your Apex class, but this is a system variable. Okay, so we don't have to declare it. So now the developer has to decide, okay, this is correct or not, and I have this reviewed it and find it's correct, but on the PMD end it's saying it's incorrect, because like generalize, they have written if you are using any variable you have to declare it, but this is a system variable, so there is no declaration required for those in order to use it. So it depends on language to language, and you have to manually check it whether a particular rule that is giving you error is correct or not. Any questions? Okay.
No, sir.
Okay, so lastly, I will share one more setting with you. Like ESLint has a configuration, three configuration CESOS has provided. One is recommended, okay, and one is also extended. So recommended is having all the best practices generally you have to follow, and extended, if you write the word extended over here, it is like a greater level of security. It will be checking a greater level of security, and all the web standards also it will be checking. Okay, so by default it is recommended. You can have a lower config also if you don't want to use recommended settings, and you can also enhance it to extended, where all the web practices that are following web are are being shown to you. Okay. Okay, so that brings to the end of our session.